First man in number 2 platoon, back a ship. Back a ship. Study. The last man in fire, back a ship. Number 2 man in fire, back a shed. Stand still. The front run.
It's the same thing with Mr. and Mr. Nonsense. So I really not in it too. Yeah, let me call
The
it.
middle of fire. About it.
Yesterday he tell you nothing about frame?
Primo, back a shed.
Hey, we on Dixon?
Stand still. Stand still. The run. California! Aye! Front! Down! Stand up! East! Stand up! Easy!
The first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament under the Commonwealth of Dominica Constitution gets underway on Tuesday, February 7, 2023 from 10 a.m. at the House of Assembly on Victoria Street. This is the first meeting of Parliament since the December 6, 2022 general elections, which saw the Dominica Labour Party winning 19 seats and independent candidates winning 2. The first meeting of a new session of Parliament signals the ceremonial opening of Parliament. At that meeting, President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savran, will address the Parliament. President Savran will speak on any topic of his choosing. The President's address follows the election of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker and the administration of the oath or affirmation of allegiance of members. Honorable Joseph Isaac will be nominated for a second term as Speaker, with Senator the Honorable Philip Rolle nominated as Deputy. The 11th Parliament will consist of 32 members, with 13 being newcomers to the House. A record 11 women are to take up seats in the Parliament come Tuesday. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit is currently the longest-serving member of the House of Assembly, replacing former Senior Minister Honorable Reginald Ostry, who retired from representational politics at the last general elections. Minister for Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience and Social Security, Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, will seek approval from the House for supplementary estimates of expenditure amounting to $235,717,376.20 for the financial year ending June 30, 2022. The government of Dominica will present 8 bills, mainly aimed at bringing financial relief to Dominicans, as outlined in the 2022-2023 national budget. The bills include an act to repeal the Highway Maintenance Levy, an act to amend the Title of Registration Act, and an act to amend the Pensions Act. The start of a new session of Parliament also signals the appointment of parliamentary committees to include the Public Accounts Committee, the Parliamentary Proceedings Broadcasting Committee, the Privileges Committee, the Standing Orders Committee, and the Creed Parliamentary Oversight Committee. The first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament will be broadcast live on all platforms of the Government Information Service. This is the 11th Parliament of Dominica under the 1978 Constitution, and welcome to live coverage here of the Government Information Service. The 11th Parliament under the Commonwealth of Dominica 1978 Constitution is a very interesting Parliament. This is the 10th. There have been 10 general elections after the establishment of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and thus the 11th Parliament is formed. This is the first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament, and it's taking place here at the House of Assembly compound on Victoria Street in Newtown. A very packed agenda awaits this new Parliament. The Parliament will begin with the election of a Speaker and a Deputy Speaker. You have heard the announcement by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit that Honorable Joseph Isaac will be nominated to be Speaker, and we have thus far heard no other names for nominations. Honorable Senator Philip Rolle is expected to be nominated as Deputy Speaker, and thus far there have been no other names for Deputy Speaker. Once the election of a Speaker and Deputy Speaker has taken place, the House will continue with the prayers, the administration of the oath or affirmation of allegiance and the oath of office to the Speaker and Deputy Speaker, and the administration of the oath or affirmation of allegiance to members of the House. All 32 members of the House will take the oath or affirmation of allegiance. But this is the ceremonial opening of Parliament, and as such, there are members of the armed forces who have gathered outside of the Parliament building on Victoria Street to take a guard of honor. Joining me now is former Superintendent of Police, Mr. Ainsworth Irish. Mr. Irish has been part of what is going on here for a number of years, more than 40 years, I believe. Good morning, Mr. Irish.
Hi, good morning to you, Darrell Cheat, and good morning to listeners or viewers of the GIS. Indeed, today is a very important day, as you find, as you did indicate. It's the first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament, and of course outside of Victoria Street is the Police Guard of Honor, 2 platoons from the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, 1 from the Fire and Ambulance, and of course the Government Band. The platoon commander, of course, is Superintendent George Theophil. His second in command is Assistant Superintendent Wicks, and the first platoon is headed by Inspector William Johnson. The second platoon is headed by Jeffrey James, Inspector, and of course the fire service, I think, is headed by Sergeant Joseph. And certainly it's a beautiful day, as you indicated. It's the first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament, and certainly we expect His Excellency the President to address the Parliament today, and after that the Parliament will be suspended, and of course the proceedings will continue. As you indicated, the Speaker, the new Speaker, who has been recommended or nominated, Mr. Joseph Isaac, will take the oath, and his Deputy Speaker, Mr. Rolle, and certainly there's a very interesting session for this Parliament. It's the 11th Parliament since our independence from 1978.
Well, Mr. Irish, let's talk about what is going on outside of the Parliament, the Guard of Honor. What does the Guard of Honor signify?
Well, the Guard of Honor signifies, of course, when there is opening of Parliament, and as a matter of respect of when His Excellency comes to present at Parliament, and the first Parliament opening since an election. As you know, election was held on December 6th,
yes.
and of course, the government won 19-2, and certainly with a guard of honor, that indicates and symbolizes that there's great respect for the authority of Parliament, and as you know, Parliament is our first court, and certainly an occasion like that, His Excellency will grace his presence, and of course the commander...
He will take a salute.
He will take a salute. The commander will invite His Excellency to inspect the guard of honor, and of course the national anthem will be played, which symbolizes the respect for His Excellency the President. Preceding His Excellency's arrival, of course, the Honorable Prime Minister would arrive, and he would get a sort of fanfare and so on, and the platoon will be brought to attention. So certainly it's a very noble occasion, and it symbolizes that, that Dominica, the state of Dominica, there's the respect for authority, and of course this guard will demonstrate just that.
Yes, and of course the Parliament will get underway from 10 o'clock this morning, and the Parliament proceedings are carried live on the Government Information Service. But let's talk about the platoons. One, of course, the platoons are headed by an inspector of police.
Yeah, the respective platoons, but the overall platoon commander is Superintendent George Theophil. His second in command is Assistant Superintendent Claude Wicks. And each platoon there's a parade commander, and Inspector William Bill Johnson is the platoon commander for platoon number 1. The second platoon is headed by Inspector Jeffrey James.
Yes. So the platoons, how many people make up, how many members of the force make up each platoon?
Basically, a platoon should consist of about 30 persons, but from time to time, depending on the exigencies of the service, it can be drawn down to about 22.
Okay, good. And the platoons, they have made their way onto Victoria Street. How are they standing now? There are some technical terms in terms of, are they standing at ease or standing easy and that sort of thing?
Yes, well, the officers now are standing at ease in open order, and upon arrival of His Excellency, of course, they have been dressed already in proper formation, in open order, in 2 ranks, and of course, at the arrival of the Prime Minister, before preceding His Excellency, the platoon commander or the platoon overall commander will bring the platoon to attention, and of course with the fanfare they would shoulder arms, that's a military term, and come to attention obviously with the fanfare, and then the Prime Minister would take his seat, get into Parliament in preparation of the arrival of His Excellency. Upon arrival of His Excellency, again, the platoon commander will bring the entire parade, guard of honor that is, to attention. His Excellency will go up to the dais. I think the dais is already there.
Yes, it is already.
And of course, he will take the salute, where the national anthem will be played, of course, as a matter of respect. And then the platoon commander will, invite His Excellency to inspect the guard. And His Excellency would give him his permission. He would have to do that. And he inspects the guard. He comes back and he requests permission from His Excellency to continue the parade. Then again, the national anthem will be played, and His Excellency will then, enter under the portico, of course, the portico of the House of Assembly, and go straight onto the Speaker's area to deliver his address. And of course, His Excellency, we can speak on any topic of national interest, and I reckon he will talk about the whole question of Parliament today, and the development as we move into the apex of our development in the country. His Excellency will probably give some sound advice on the way forward for development.
Yes, of course, the platoon is already in place. Parliament will begin at 10. It will be some time before the arrival of His Excellency, as Parliament has to take on some important business, as I mentioned, the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, as well as the administration of the oath, both for the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, as well as the members of Parliament. There are 32 members of Parliament, to include the Speaker, to include the Attorney General, who is not an elected member or senator, but is coming into the House through the civil service. He is appointed Attorney General through the civil service. 32 members, some 11 women comprise the parliamentary benches at this time. This is the highest number of women in Parliament in the OECS, and I dare say CARICOM at this point. And the 11 women, of which 9 are elected members of the House of Assembly. We'll be back in a short while to continue the broadcast of the proceedings of Parliament, and when I come back, a former senior government minister will join me here before we move to the formal proceedings of the House. We'll be right back.
And as we speak, the parliamentarians are coming.
Senior writer of the parliamentary representative for the Welcome back here to the coverage of the first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament in Dominica. It is a very interesting session because this is the first time in 22 years Ian Douglas, Ambassador His Excellency Ian Douglas, will not be a member of Parliament. He's one of the luckiest members of Parliament in the sense that not at any time during his political career on parliamentary benches, he served on the opposition side. Mr. Douglas, good morning and welcome to join us here this morning.
Hi, good morning to you, Dario. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Mr. Douglas, how does it feel? Does it feel nostalgic that you are here at Parliament but not as a member?
Yeah, it feels sort of, I wouldn't say nostalgic is the word, maybe closer to bittersweet, in the sense that, yeah, I miss the being here, the adrenaline that goes through in the preparation and the pomp and the pageantry and everything that goes with it, the responsibility also that goes with the seriousness and the approach that is needed as a parliamentarian. But like you said, I'm happy that I have done my stint. I've served the people of the Portsmouth constituency well, a constituency that I've never voted or never supported any other party other than the Dominican Labour Party since 1959. We're very happy and proud to have maintained this record, even going into this term of office and of Parliament.
One of the unique things about the parliamentary makeup, I like these small anecdotes in relation to Parliament. The constituency of Bakers continues to be the only constituency which has never been on the opposite side of the aisle, meaning in the opposition. Bakers has always been a constituency which has been in government. Portsmouth has been a constituency which has always voted Labour, and there are a number of these small anecdotes we can take from the Parliament. What does it mean now, the ceremonial of opening of Parliament? What does that mean for Dominica at this time?
Well, it means that our democracy is strong and well. It means that the will of the people is being executed efficiently and effectively. We went to the polls and the people voted in a government of their choice. Like I said, democracy is alive and well and strong in the Commonwealth of Dominica, and the people have said by their mandate that they are satisfied with the work that the government has done in the past terms, in the past years, and they are satisfied that with the plans that the government has outlined in their manifesto and in their campaign, that they're satisfied that the government will serve them in good stead. And that means that our democracy is alive and well. I'm very happy about that.
Well, Mr. Douglas, you're no longer a member of parliament, but you had the pleasure, as you said then, of advising the incoming parliamentarians during an orientation session that they had. There are a number of new members of parliament at this time, young members as well, a number of ladies. Do you think that will change the outlook of parliament with the different makeup at this time?
Yes and no. It wouldn't change the outlook in the sense that we'll continue because the same government is in power, and the direction and the trajectory of the government, the vision of the government continues to unfold. We have a lot of new and young parliamentarians, both on the government and the opposition side. And it's an opportunity for the entire parliamentary process to take fresh guard. Everybody in Dominica knows, and everybody who's listened to our parliamentary proceedings know that it has been a bit contentious in the past, in the sense that government and the opposition have not worked as well as they should, because there's always the perception that opposition must oppose. Opposition don't necessarily have to oppose every measure of the government. If the opposition feels that a measure being put forward is in the interest of the development of Dominica and of the citizens of the country, then it would do them well, it would serve them well and serve their credibility well to support those measures. And that is the kind of approach that I would like to see in this new parliament, in this new sitting, that the citizens feel that the legislature is really united for the attainment of the vision for the development of Dominica. The Prime Minister has outlined that we want Dominica to be the first and world's first climate resilient country. And I believe that that is a vision that all of us can embrace. You don't necessarily have to sit on any side of the political divide to embrace that vision and contribute and make your contribution towards the attainment of that vision. And that sort of leadership process starts in the parliament, so that constituents can see that all the parliamentarians are united behind that vision, behind the attainment of that goal for a better Dominica through climate resiliency.
A lengthy session is on the cards there. Is this one of the lengthier opening sessions of Parliament? A number of bills are up, supplementary estimate, so parliamentarians will get going very, very early in this session.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually you would have perhaps a more ceremonial opening traditionally, where you have the president giving the throne speech, as it's called, and the Prime Minister perhaps giving an introductory speech, really outlining his vision for the term of office. But we see that because the government has been in place, we have a sort of smooth continuation and smooth transition and a continuity, because we really have work to do in Dominica, and no moment can be lost in the advancement of the work that has to be done for the attainment of the goals that we set ourselves. And so it's good to see that this parliament and this government by extension has hit the ground running, and it will give the young parliamentarians an opportunity to observe all of the various processes of parliament and get up to speed in a quicker time really than if we had gone the traditional route of just a speech from the president and a speech from the Prime Minister. But you see that the work is going on apace, and that speaks a lot, that speaks well for the government. And for the new members, like I said, most of them are parliamentary secretaries, so they are attached to various ministries, and most of them are coming in as parliamentary representatives, so they have constituencies and they have a vision for the continued development of those constituencies. So we have supplementary appropriation, and some of those appropriations speak to various measures that the government would have taken at the individual grassroots constituency level. And so some of those parliamentary representatives have an opportunity to speak to those measures and at the same time weave their own vision for the continued development of their constituency into their contributions in the parliament today.
What advice would you have for the new members of parliament?
Stay focused, stay disciplined, but stay humble. Stay close to the people, because they're the ones who put you there. It's a balancing act that you have to do, because you cannot be advocating for your constituency, which comes across as being against the government's plans and programs. So you have to get it right very early and strike the balance between what you want for your constituency and what the government is trying to achieve.
Well, we now see the arrival of the Prime Minister of Dominica. Thank you, Mr. Douglas, for
Welcome.
joining us here this morning. We now see the arrival of the Prime Minister of Dominica. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt has arrived, and Mrs. Skerritt has arrived not just as the wife of the Prime Minister, but as the new Minister for Housing and Urban Development. And the Prime Minister now will make his way towards the dais, where he will take a guard of honor salute, and of course, we will see him enter the House along with Mrs. Skerritt, the parliamentary representative for the Roseau constituency. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt, at this sitting of the House, becomes the longest continuous serving member of Parliament. He has been a member of Parliament for the past 23 years. We now see the arrival of the Prime Minister being escorted by the Assistant Commissioner of Police. We have had members of Parliament such as Maynard Joseph, such as Venice Bellamy, and they have all been members of the government of the day. In the 10 general elections we have had in Dominica, 3 have been under the Constitution, the 1978 Constitution. 3 have been won by the Dominica Freedom Party, 1 by the United Workers Party, and of course 6 by the Dominica Labour Party. This is the first meeting of Parliament when in the last 25 years that Honorable Reginald Osprey will not be a member of the House. Honorable Osprey retired as a member of Parliament following the last the general elections of December 6, 2022. Honorable Osprey likes to pride himself now as a private citizen who continues to work in the service of the people of Dominica. Mr. Irish, just to bring you back into the conversation at this time, we've seen the arrival of the Prime Minister, and very soon we will see the start of the House in just about 5 to 10 minutes time. The House promptly starts at 10 o'clock with the entry of the Speaker. However, in this case, there is no entry of the Speaker because there is no Speaker at this time. There will be the election of a Speaker, and that, of course, takes place at the first meeting of Parliament post a general election. The House, it will be 6 members on the opposition side and some 25 members on the side of the government of Dominica, to include the Attorney General. And we now see, from what I'm seeing in there, I have just seen the arrival of the parliamentary representative for the Marigot constituency, as well as Senators Henderson Reid and Senators Paris. They have now arrived at the House. I've not yet seen the arrival of the leader of the opposition, but from what I'm seeing here, my vantage point, a number of government members are already in their seats and in place. But Mr. Irish, the guard of honor was what would you say for the arrival of
Well,
the
on the
Prime
arrival
Minister?
of the Prime Minister, he got that fanfare. The Prime Minister entered into the dais. Of course, his wife was escorted into Parliament, and there was a
member
fanfare.
of Parliament for
member
Roseau.
for Roseau,
Yeah,
I should
yes,
say.
yes.
Honorable Melissa Skerritt, the member for Roseau constituency, Roseau Central. And of course, the Prime Minister got that beautiful fanfare from the government band. The parade commander brought the parade to attention, and as a matter of respect, they gave him that nice fanfare. But certainly when His Excellency would have arrived, then the national anthem would be played when His Excellency enters the dais.
And His Excellency would arrive at an appointed time based on the order of the
order paper.
The order paper.
In fact, as we speak now, the election for the speaker should be going on now.
No, it's not.
At this time, or at 10 o'clock.
This will be the first order
that will be the first order of business, and immediately after that, His Excellency will arrive and alight from his vehicle and come to the dais.
Well, I don't think so. I think after the speaker is taking his place, there will be the administration of the oath or allegiance of members of the House.
Yeah, prior to his arrival.
Yes. Prior to the arrival. So His Excellency is sometime off, but I think half an hour to 45 minutes before the arrival of His Excellency. Because His Excellency cannot be outside standing.
No. But the manner in which the oath is done in a sort of speedy manner that, you know, it won't delay the proceedings unduly. But certainly within the next 15 or so minutes, I think the proceedings of the oath and all the preliminaries prior to the arrival of His Excellency should have been completed, and then His Excellency arrives. And as we speak, we can say it's a real Caribbean day. The sun is out in all its glory, and certainly, I mean, look at the flowers at the portico. It's, you know, we are done with these beautiful flowers. The parliamentarians are in, and really a very good atmosphere. And as you indicated, the government side, of course, with 30, the parliament with 32, government with 24, plus the Attorney General 25, and they will take the oath of office in terms of, you know, for Parliament today. And as we speak, we see one of the senators, or two senators coming in.
The opposition side have arrived. But the House has a very packed agenda. The Prime Minister and the Minister for Investment and Governance. This is the first time in some 18 plus years that Roosevelt Skerrit will not enter the House as the Minister for Finance. The Prime Minister will lay the papers on the table, the proclamation dissolving Parliament and the proclamation summoning Parliament. And then, of course, the Minister of Finance, that is Dr. Irving McIntyre, will lay the schedule of supplementary appropriation for the period July 2021 to June 2022, as well as the Dominica Agriculture, Industrial and Development Bank financial statements of 2021, as well as the 2021 debt portfolio review paper. Yes. These are the papers that will be laid on the table. But a number of bills are to be presented.
Yes.
Following the debate on the supplementary estimate, the motion for the supplementary estimate.
Amendment to the Traffic Act,
yes, I think. A number of things are to be debated. But the Minister for Finance will present the motion for approval of supplementary estimates to the House in the total of $235,717,376.20. Then the bills that are to be debated in the House when the House gets underway, it will be the second and third reading of a bill for an act to amend the Value Added Tax Act, a bill for an act to amend the Stamp Act, and a bill for an act to amend the Pensions Act. Then there will also be bills for amendment to the Title of Registration Act, and there will also be bills for the repeal of the Highway Maintenance Levy, as well as the Road Traffic Act. And then the International Maritime Act will see some amendment, as well as the bill for an act to amend the Civil Aviation Act.
So quite a tall order
yes.
to the Parliament.
But it seems that the proceedings of the House are beginning, so let's go across to the House of Assembly where the proceedings are on the way.
Yeah, okay. Just go. Somebody will guide you.
In that capacity.
Have it confirmed that one nominee, Mr. Joseph Thomas Isaac, has consented for the election of as Speaker of the House Assembly. Since we have only one day before the House, in accordance with Standing Orders 4.3, I now declare that Joseph Thomas Isaac declared Speaker of the House of Assembly. Honorable Cassandra Laville and also Honorable Dennis Charles is going to get the speaker, fetch the speaker. Go fetch the speaker.
I beg to express my grateful thanks for the high honor the House has been pleased to confer on me. It has been a long journey, because a lot of times when we end up in public life, people assume that's where it began. But I would like to first thank the Lord for we have reached thus far. Many Dominican professionals have had a positive impact on my life, and I would like to just highlight some of them. Ambassador Erwin Larocque, who has nurtured and guided me in my first job as a trade officer in the ministry. Mr. Patrick Pemberton, for recognizing my talent and employing me at Colgate-Palmolive as an engineer. Mr. Colin Bully for challenging me at the OECS Export Development Unit. Dr. Colin McIntyre was the Minister of Trade, and at the time with His Excellency Elud Williams being the chairman of the Business Gateway Project and the Export Development Strategy. They have showed confidence in me all those years. Madam Speaker, for your work, which you have guided me through as being the Speaker when I just came in, I would like to thank you. Our most esteemed leader, who I worked with as a Minister of Environment, that's the Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit. You have taught me about leadership in a different way, about being cool, being measured. I would like to thank you on the public record, not as a politician, but as a person who I see as one of the best HR person I've seen in my life, even if I've worked with multinationals. So I would like to thank you for that, and I want all Dominicans to recognize that you are not just a politician, but a person who really have a depth of empathy for people. And most importantly, my wife and family, you have been there with me through thick and thin. And finally, most people who have been challenging me throughout my life, whether it's positive or negative, but to ensure that I rise to the occasion, I thank you for the challenge. God bless.
Congratulatory remarks to new speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to extend my sincere congratulations to you on your election to this high office of Speaker of the House of Assembly of Dominica. You know, life is very strange, you know, that I met the Speaker of the function. He had to rise when I walked in, and the next day I had to rise when he walked in. And then if he tells me to take my seat, I have no other choice but to take my seat. And so it speaks, it really reminds all of us of the need to maintain a high degree of humility in the offices that we hold. That irrespective of one's station, we have to show respect. And so rest assured, Mr. Speaker, that you will get my fullest respect, as always, as the Speaker of the House and the one who is in charge of the proceedings of the House. You are the final arbiter on matters relating to the functioning of the House, even if I am considered to be the leader of the House. But you make the decisions, and we shall abide by this. Being the Speaker is a very difficult job. It is not easy, as many people think, but I believe that you have conducted yourself, and I have no doubt that you will continue to do so with aplomb and, of course, with diligence. And so I wish you God's blessings and guidance. And I think one of the things that the public needs to know is the extent of the responsibility of the Speaker of the House. People think it's only during the sitting of Parliament, but it is a very tough administrative, has many important administrative duties that we have to look at. And this is why I believe that the Parliament will need at some point to consider how it treats the Speaker of the House of Assembly in terms of the support that we provide in carrying out the functions and duties of that very high office. And so I want to congratulate you, and I wish you God's blessings and guidance in this very important office. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the parliamentary opposition, I wish to offer congratulations to you on your elevation or to the office of Speaker of the House of Assembly for another term. Under our system of parliamentary democracy, the Speaker has an extremely important role to play. It is our fervent hope that you will exercise the powers vested in you by the Constitution and the standing orders with objectivity and impartiality. You are the Speaker of the whole House, and as such, you should see all of us in the House as members, irrespective of which side of the House we sit. We look forward to your leadership in this House for the good of all the people of this country. Thank you.
Election of Deputy Speaker.
Yeah, any proposal? Your mic, please. Yes, yeah, okay now. You may proceed.
Excuse me? Yes. We move that Mr. Philip Rowe be elected as the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the proposal.
Is there any other proposer who wants to propose another person? Okay. Well, then I now declare that Mr. Philip Rowe has been elected Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. That's unopposed, unopposed.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to express my grateful thanks for this high honor that the House has been pleased to confer on me. I also wish to express my sincerest gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister and other colleagues of this Honorable House for electing me as Deputy Speaker. I remember standing in this Honorable House just 3 days short of 3 years ago with a firm commitment to make a positive contribution to this Parliament and my country. And today, this commitment is fortified times 10. Being elected as Deputy Speaker is a role which I take very seriously, and I am grateful for the guidance of the longest-serving Speaker of the House, who, lucky for me, happens to be my grandmother. And, of course, you as our current Speaker, Honorable Isaac. I would not be here if not for the support and guidance of family, friends, and of course, the Almighty Father. Today, I look across this Honorable House, and I am as inspired as I am energized by the number of young parliamentarians sitting here today. And Mr. Speaker, it is by no coincidence that the Commonwealth has declared 2023 as the Year of the Youth. I once again express my deepest gratitude and pledge to work diligently in service to this Honorable House and my country. Thank you.
Congratulations, remarks to the new Deputy Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Skerrit Popon and then Honorable Blackmore.
Okay.
Okay, you want your ladies first? Yes, yes, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to extend my warmest congratulations to Mr. Philip Rowe on his successful assignment for the second term as Deputy Speaker in this Honorable House. Mr. Roll, you have truly exemplified yourself as a noble leader by holding a position which is open to constant criticism and challenge. But you are fair and you're firm in your judgment, and you are always guided by the Constitution and the standing orders of this House. I know that your leadership is admired by many young people in this country. I see your grandmother, Speaker Emeritus, is here today, Alex Boyd Knight. She served 20 years in this House, but by the look of things, I suspect you are well on your way to breaking her record that she's so proud of holding. So on behalf of this government, congratulations on your well-deserved success. We are proud of you, and we look forward to our friendly yet professional cooperation. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I feel obligated to stand here this morning to express my most profound commendation to the Deputy Speaker. And I'm doing that because I am convinced that when he cast his first vote, it was for me. And I can recall getting a call asking, where do I have to vote? But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, I think you're seeing a demonstration and a manifestation of this Labour Party administration of elevating tomorrow's generation. This is a young man who comes from a family that I know very well, that has demonstrated and embraced a sense of industry and hard work. And I think those qualities are indeed for today's upcoming generation to so embrace and emulate. I am confident that he'll do well, and I wish him well, and good luck, young man. Maybe very soon. And I hope the Speaker doesn't take offense to that. Maybe the Speaker. It's part of your DNA. And then it might be the president one day, even after I'm dead, but answer bring you soon. So good luck, and keep on holding your head high, and continue to demonstrate that sense of industry that your family has embraced. That is something I think that is lacking in our society today, in our value system, and it continues to dilute because of social diversion, inspired by the rest of the world. But folks like you, with your virtues that you have embraced from your family, will do everything possible to stand above everything else. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, it will be remiss of me if I do not stand to extend my sincere congratulations to Honorable Philip Rowe for being elected for his second term as Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. We will all recall that when he was first appointed, he was the youngest Deputy Speaker ever elected to the House of Assembly in our country's history. And this was a tremendous day for the young people, not only in Dominica, but I dare say throughout the Caribbean world, because they took note of this. We also have, and very soon will take oath of office, the youngest member of the Parliament, who was voted in at 23, she's now turning 24, and very soon she'll be officially sworn in as a member of Parliament. And when you look on this government side and successive parliaments, you will see a concerted and determined effort to engage more young people in decision making in Dominica, but also many women too, being given an opportunity to serve at some of the highest offices. And this is a commitment which we have made to the young people of Dominica, and a commitment that has been fulfilled. And I feel the same sense of joy and accomplishment that Honorable Rowe feels for himself I feel it for him as if I am him, because I believe in celebrating people's successes. I believe in helping people to grow and to be the best that they can be, irrespective of your age. And with a profound sense of humility. With a profound sense of humility, because, it is always said that sometimes if you don't speak for yourself, no one will speak for you. But these things have happened and continue to happen under my leadership as leader of the Dominican Labour Party in the government of this country. Recognizing young talent, and not only in respect to Deputy Speaker, but you look in the public service, you look on boards and chairpersons of boards, young people are given the opportunity. And my only hope and prayer is that they will use these opportunities not only to build themselves, but to build the country which we all love and serve. And so again, Honorable Rule, congratulations to you, and I look forward to working with you in this parliament. Thank you very much.
Yes. Let's stand. Almighty God, who in thy infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of rulers and councils for the welfare of society and the just government of man, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in thy presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote thy honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. All which we ask in the name and for the sake of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Admiration of oath and or affirmation of allegiance, and oath of office to Speaker and Deputy Speaker. I, Joseph Isaac,
I, Joseph Isaac,
do swear
that
I will faithfully
bear
true allegiance
to
the Commonwealth of
Dominica
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God. I, Joseph Isaac, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Speaker without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of that function of that office I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution
of
of the Commonwealth of Dominica. So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Philip Rule, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica according to law. So help me God. I, Philip Rule, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Deputy Speaker without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica. So help me God.
I must call upon members of the House to take the oath of allegiance or affirmation of allegiance. Honorable Prime Minister. I, Roosevelt Skerrit.
I, Roosevelt Skerrit,
Do swear.
do swear
That I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica.
that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica
According to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Levi A. Peter.
I, Levi A. Peter,
I, Levi A. Peter,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully bear true allegiance
that I will faithfully bear true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre.
I, Irvin McIntyre,
I, Irvin McIntyre,
do swear that I will faithfully
do swear that I will faithfully
bear true allegiance
bear true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson.
I, Vince Henderson,
I, Vince Henderson,
do swear that I will
do swear that I will
faithfully bear true allegiance
faithfully bear true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Rayburn Blackmore.
I, Rayburn Blackmore,
I, Raymond Blackmore,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Dennis A. Charles.
I, Dennis Charles,
I, Dennis Charles,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
Honorable Octavia Alfred.
I, Octavia Alfred,
I, Octavia Alfred,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
Honorable Cassani Laville.
I, Cassani Laville,
I, Cassani Laville,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Spirit.
Faithfully bear
True allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to
law.
so
So help me God.
Honorable Cozier Frederick. Oh, Fidel Grant. Sorry, Fidel Grant. Honorable Fidel Grant. Honorable Cozier Frederick.
I, Greta Roberts,
I, Greta Roberts,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of
according
Dominica,
to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Shakira Lokot Dipolit. I, Shakira Lokot Dipolit,
I, Shakira Lopez Hippolyte,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true
true
allegiance
allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
Honorable Miriam Blanchard.
I, Miriam Blanchard,
I, Miriam Blanchard,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Roland Roy.
I, Roland Roy,
I, Roland Roy,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Dr. Honorable Cassandra Williams.
I, Cassandra Williams,
I, Cassandra Williams,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully
That I will faithfully
bear true allegiance
bear true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
Honorable Julian Defoe.
I, Julian Defoe,
I, Julian Defoe,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Darren Lloyd.
I, Darren Lloyd,
I, Darren Lloyd,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Oscar George.
Proud of you. Yeah. I, Oscar George,
I, Oscar George,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Fenella Wenham.
I, Fenella Wenham,
I, Finella Wenham,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Darren Pinard.
I, Darren Pinard,
I, Darren Pinard,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear true allegiance
that I will faithfully bear true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Lakia Joseph.
I, Lakia Joseph,
I, Lakia Joseph,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Kent Edwards.
I, Kent Edwards,
I, Kent Edwards,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Dwayne Austin Lockhart.
I, Dwayne Austin Lockhart,
I, Dwayne Austin Lockhart,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Jesper Paul Victor.
I, Jesper Paul Victor,
I, Jesper Paul Victor,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law.
according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Honorable Anthony Samara Charles.
I, Anthony Charles,
I, Anthony Charles,
do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica according to law. So help me God.
Senator Laurie Victor.
I, Laurie Victor,
I, Laurie Victor,
do swear
do swear
that I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of
Dominica according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Senator Sean R. Douglas.
I, Sean Douglas,
I, Sean Douglas,
do swear
that
I will faithfully bear
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth
of Dominica
according to law.
So help me God.
Senator Lorraine M. Henderson Reed.
I, Lauren Henderson Reed,
I, Lauren Henderson Reed,
do swear
that
I will faithfully bear true allegiance
true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
to the Commonwealth of Dominica
according to law. So help me God.
So help me God.
Senator Delbert R. Paris.
I, Delbert Paris,
I, Delbert Paris,
do solemnly affirm
that
I will faithfully
bear true allegiance
to the Commonwealth of Dominica according to law.
Adoption of the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the order paper be adopted as amended.
I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the order paper be adopted. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
Suspension of sitting.
I now suspend the sitting in order to meet His Excellency the President.
Mr. Speaker!
continue. Round of order. Presidential salute. Present. Out of order! 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 What is that?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
I will now invite His Excellency the President to address the House. Mr. President.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House of Assembly, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the listening and viewing public, it is with a great sense of gratitude to God that I bid a very pleasant and blessed good morning to you all. Mr. Speaker, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to address a message to this august body and the nation for a 10th time in my capacity as President of the Commonwealth of Dominica on this most significant occasion of the formal opening of Parliament, the first meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament under the Commonwealth of Dominican Constitution Order. I am pleased to be here and wish, first of all, to express sincere thanks to you, Mr. Speaker, for the invitation extended to my wife and I to the formal start of the 2023-2024 parliamentary session. My wife, Clara, joins me in thanking you most earnestly for your kind and gracious invitation. Please accept, Mr. Speaker, my sincere congratulations on your re-election as Speaker of this Honorable House. Having served this last 3 years in the Speaker's chair, you have gained much experience and understanding of the rules and customs of this legislative assembly. I have every confidence that you will continue to excel in presiding over the deliberations of this 11th Parliament and apply the standing orders of discretion, objectivity, and impartiality.
I pray that the good Lord favors you with the spirit of wisdom and patience as you continue to exercise this sacred duty. Congratulations are also offered to you, Senator the Honorable Philip Rowe, on your re-election as Deputy Speaker of the House. I was very impressed with the way that you presided over the business of the House when the opportunity presented itself, and I have no doubt that you will maintain the professional approach to your role during this 11th Parliament. I also offer congratulations to all the honorable members who were successful in the December 6, 2022 general elections, as well as the 5 senators who were appointed on the advice of the Honorable Prime Minister, and the 4 senators on the advice of the Honorable Leader of the Opposition to complete the composition of this Honorable House. I commend and congratulate the Honorable Prime Minister in leading his party to success at the polls. I believe, sir, that you have become the only Prime Minister in Caribbean history to have served 6 consecutive terms as Prime Minister and to have led your party successfully to 5 consecutive general election victories. This is an extraordinary achievement that needs to be acknowledged and applauded. I sincerely wish to commend and congratulate the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, who was sworn in by the President on Tuesday, the 20th day of December 2022, and to say to you, Madam, and to the members of the parliamentary opposition, that yours is a most sacred task, and encourage all of you to remain true to the oaths that you have subscribed to this morning, and to be constructive in your contributions to the debates in this House and the general governance of the affairs of the state. Mr. Speaker, the general elections campaign had all of the usual meetings and rallies and walks and marches. But we did not see a repetition of the regrettable incidents which occurred in the lead up to the 2019 poll, nor the violence on Election Day 2019 itself. I therefore wish to congratulate all the shareholders, and that means all of us, in the December 6th elections for a peaceful conduct of the polls. Mr. Speaker, please permit me at this juncture to offer a few words of advice to the new members of this honorable House. That is, all 6 members of the opposition and 9 first-time members on the government side. Parliament is the supreme legislative body where matters affecting governance and affairs of state are deliberated upon and voted into law. Freedom of speech without threat of legal action for slander is one of the most important privileges enjoyed by members of Parliament. However, the right to speak is governed by the standing orders of the House. The standing orders are essential to safeguard and maintain order and decorum when debates are taking place. The standing orders provide guidance as to what you can say, how you can say it, when you can say it, and for how long you can speak on each matter. The Speaker of the House presides over the proceedings of the House and is charged with the responsibility of maintaining order in the chamber by ensuring that the rules of the House and established practices are followed and respected. Additionally, the Speaker has the duty to interpret the rules and give guidance as to the practices of the House to ensure that the debate is focused. His rulings on points of order raised by members is final. So while the Speaker of the House is charged with maintaining the dignity and the decorum of the House, each of you must take responsibility for your behavior and to make your contributions in an appropriate manner. I therefore make a special appeal to you to have due regard to the rulings and admonitions of the Speaker and to familiarize yourself with the standing orders of the House. I encourage you, whether elected or appointed as a senator, to aim to become an effective member of Parliament. This would require you to seek advice, to always prepare for the debate by reading and conducting research, to always have a firm grasp of the issues at hand, and develop good research techniques and organizational skills. It is a daunting task, but the rewards in terms of personal growth, confidence, satisfaction in the attainment of a wealth of knowledge and respect by your peers and constituents are immense. Mr. Speaker, during the last 9 years, since being elected by this honorable House as President of Dominica, initially on the 2nd of October 2013 and re-elected on the 2nd of October 2018, I subscribed on both occasions to the prescribed oaths pertaining to the office of the President and indicated unequivocally in my acceptance speeches that I was assuming the office of President without malice or ill will towards anyone, without fear of intimidation, and with respect for the traditions, laws, and Constitution of Dominica, which I swore to uphold. I have remained true and loyal to these commitments, and by God's grace and goodness, I have been discharging the functions of the office of the President for these 9 years plus, as outlined in the Constitution, with the highest sense of dedication, impartiality, objectivity, fairness, and consideration for all, and have sought to maintain a sense of dignity and serenity in the office of President. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House of Assembly, thus far it has been a rewarding, fulfilling, and enjoyable experience serving my people and nation. As with everything else in life, there will be good moments and difficult and challenging moments. Overwhelming challenges emerged within my first 5-year term as well as during my second term. Foremost to mind are Tropical Storm Erica in 2015, Hurricane Maria in 2017, unpredictability of weather patterns due to global warming and climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the global impact of the Russian-Ukraine war. The President is also challenged by the impact of other social ills confronting the state, such as crime, violence, and acute political division. As a prayerful and resilient people and nation, we have been able to address the impacts of these challenges and have nevertheless made great progress and strides in many sectors, particularly in the areas of physical infrastructure, health, housing, tourism, education, information and communication technology, entrepreneurship, renewable energy development, and in providing for the elderly, the very young, and the dispossessed. I have been privileged to oversee the philanthropic work of the President's Charities Foundation Incorporated, which on an annual basis provides cash donations to some 17 charitable organizations. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the chairperson and members of the President's Charities Foundation, both past and present, and look forward to the continued support to the President in office. The work of the Foundation is made possible by the generous support of sponsors and the patrons who purchase tickets and participate in our fundraising events. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House of Assembly, the greatest part of the President's job is to ensure the smooth functioning of the organs of the state in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution requires the President to discharge his functions on the advice of the appropriate authority, which in most cases is the Prime Minister and/or the Cabinet. But in certain circumstances, maybe the leader of the opposition, certain trade unions, and commissions established by the Constitution. In certain specific circumstances, the President is authorized to act in his own deliberate judgment. Such actions must be in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and applicable law, and in the best interests of our people and nation. The President cannot arrogate unto himself powers not specifically provided for in the Constitution or applicable law. The office of the President and the President himself remain open and available to all to listen, to advise, and to caution. As the 8th President, I am truly proud of what we have accomplished together. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this honorable House, the gratifying experience that I referred to earlier would not have been possible without the grace and mercy of Almighty God. Without the love, support, understanding, and cooperation of my dear wife and family, friends, well-wishers, the President, Secretary, and staff of the office, and official residents of the President, and the ADC and the security detail. For all of this, I will be forever thankful and grateful. I express gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister and members of the House of Assembly for conferring the dignity and the responsibility of the office of the President on me for 2 consecutive 5-year terms. Your confidence and trust is much appreciated. I would further like to thank the line ministries and departments, particularly the Office of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet Secretariat, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Chambers of the Attorney General, the Dominica Police Force, the Government Information Service, the ICT Unit, the NEP Unit, the Local Government Department, and the Dominica State Prisons for the extension of courtesies and invaluable partnership. Mr. President, it has been the honor of my life to serve the people of Dominica as President. It is the culmination of 60 years of public service as an assistant master at the Dominica Grammar School, a trade unionist, senator, minister of government, ambassador, manager of the National Development Corporation, elected member of the Roseau Central constituency, minister of government once again, and as president. My second 5-year term comes to an end on October the 1st of this year. Until then, I will continue to discharge the functions of President. I commit to my successor that the office and the official residence of the President will make the necessary arrangements to ensure the smoothest possible transition. Mr. Speaker, the unprecedented impacts of climate change, compounded by significant consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war, are expected to continue influencing global discourse in various forums, particularly centered on sustainability, environmental justice, supply chain management, energy reliability, inflation, food security, among others. All of these impacts have serious ramifications for the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, which are targeted by global leaders to be achieved by 2030. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this House of Assembly, life experiences have taught us that something good often comes out of a bad situation. The SWOT analysis tool tells us that there are not only threats, but also opportunities. So no matter how severe and sad the circumstances of these challenges are, there are generally upsides as well. The onus is therefore upon us to make the best use of what the crises offer. Some of the opportunities to be derived from the impacts of those three crises mentioned are as follows. 1, regarding climate change, we are challenged to embrace eco-friendly technology, to focus on renewable energy as a climate-related phenomenon provided opportunity for growth. Companies can also incorporate green technologies into their designs and operations. To encourage credit facilities to expand lending to projects that will help small businesses become more energy efficient and sustainable. And to facilitate the removal of excessive red tape, which stifles investment in renewable energy and other climate-friendly projects. This would create an environment in which a private sector can thrive and in which investments in renewable energy can make financial sense. 2, the COVID-19 pandemic provides opportunities for increased digitalization, automation, and analysis. There is, as a result, a growing need for employees who can digitize and automate business processes. Organizations which survive also stand to realize cost savings, improve compliance, resilience in processes, and business continuity. Conventional banking, that is standing in line at a teller's cage, is fast becoming something of the past. New and flexible career opportunities are expanding. Virtual is now the new normal. There has been increased connectivity that goes beyond geographical boundaries as it relates to online learning, online meetings and conferences, and online job opportunities. The Russia-Ukraine war's disruption of global supply chains mandate prioritizing of structural transformation that is green, inclusive, and resilient, the rapid transformation from dependence on fossil fuels to relying on renewable energy sources, advancement of the regional economic and social integration agenda. This will help erode the many artificial boundaries that block the movement of people, goods, and services across the Caribbean region, and renewed emphasis on growing what we eat and eating what we grow. This would help reduce the high level of dependency on imported foods and thereby reduce the high food import bill. Mr. Speaker, the issue of electoral reform has loomed over us through several election cycles. Government has played its part in facilitating this initiative through the provision of technical and financial support to the responsible authority, and more recently, the engagement of a prominent and high-profile legal mind in the person of Sir Dennis Byron to review the existing electoral legislation and processes and to submit recommendations for reform. I therefore urge members on both sides of this honorable House and the public at large to acknowledge that the process is almost complete and to approach the consultations and debate on electoral reform from the point of view of ensuring that the rights of all eligible voters are protected, and to be vigilant to ensure that names of persons who are no longer eligible to be on the voters list, in conformity with our existing laws, are removed following due process. I look forward to the consultation on the report of Sir Dennis Byron on this matter, and I have every confidence that the unresolved issues of electoral reform will be given priority attention by this new administration. The Honorable Prime Minister gave the assurance following the results of the election that he would ensure that all stakeholders, including the Commonwealth Secretariat and the OAS, would be engaged in consultation to review the report and recommendations by Sir Dennis Byron, and that once an acceptable draft legislation is agreed upon on this matter, a bill would be brought before Parliament for its consideration. I take the Honorable Prime Minister at his word and look forward to this House bringing this matter to a close. Mr. Speaker, our journey is one of building back better with sustainability, modernization, and resilience. This journey started following the passage of the two major natural disasters, Tropical Storm Erika in 2015 and Hurricane Maria in 2017, when government resolved to combat global climate change by rebuilding even better and stronger, and to make Dominica the first climate resilient country in the world. To realize this goal, the government integrated climate resilience and disaster risk management into the National Growth and Development Planning Framework. We were journeying satisfactorily until our commendable performance and achievements and high expectations were brought to an abrupt halt in 2020 by the emergence of the coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic. Focus and resources had to be diverted urgently to address the unprecedented and fluid challenges of this new health crisis. What we had hoped to achieve has been derailed in many ways by the COVID-19 pandemic, and government revenues have taken a hard blow. The Honorable Prime Minister has therefore called for a national reset to put Dominica safely back on a road of sustained progress and prosperity. We are all well known to persevere in the face of adversity, and I am quite confident that we can achieve the national reset agenda in the post-COVID era, including the goal of boosting agriculture to contribute some $700 million to our GDP by 2030, which would be a 100% increase in our present output. To achieve this, however, we would need to take full ownership of this new opportunity and commit to work even harder and smarter with the required energy, purpose, and commitment. The civil service, indeed the entire public sector, which is the machinery through which government policies and programs are advanced and implemented, is essential to making a success of this reset. As a result, there would have to be a new approach in the civil service. Statutory corporations, quasi-government organizations, financial institutions, and government contractors, all committing to this new paradigm that is never leaving for tomorrow that which can be done successfully and efficiently today. The same must also apply to the private sector. We must be willing to work assiduously together, including in this Parliament, for the common good of the people of this, our country. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the series of plans, programs, and policies that have been articulated and implemented by the government in recent years clearly indicate that government took on board the lessons learned from the experiences of those three major crises highlighted in this message and the opportunities to be derived from them. Additionally, prospects for the post-COVID era hold much promise for achieving sustainable development and significant progress in advancing the international airport and geothermal electricity development projects, which are pillars in our quest towards the achieving of resilience as a nation. The road ahead is going to be challenging, but we have shown in the past that we are capable of rising to the challenge after all. So let us embrace each other as fellow Dominicans and work together for the benefit, the transformation, and further development of our country. We have done amazingly well in navigating the turbulent times. Let us count our many blessings and give glory to God. God bless you, and may God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. I thank you all for the courtesy of your attention. I thank you.
I shall now take leave of His Excellency the President.
Mr. Speaker!
House resumes.
Mr. Speaker, I move that message of thanks be forwarded to His Excellency the President for his very timely address to the 10th Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
The question is that a message of thanks be forwarded to His Excellency the President. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Obituary and congratulatory remarks.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a very quick minute to extend to the family of late Irvin Chillingford our sincere condolences on his passing. Mr. Chillingford, as we all know, was a prominent sportsman in our country who represented Dominica on the West Indies cricket team as the first Dominican who would have served on the West Indies cricket team, and really opened doors for many small islanders, including another Dominican, to make the West Indies cricket team. And so we, as a government, recognize in his contribution to Dominic. We've made a derogation to an existing policy on who accorded the privilege of receiving an official funeral, and we have taken a decision to bestow on Mr. Chillingford, this remains an official funeral. And so we mourn his death, and I think the entire sporting and cricketing world would have certainly mourned his death. I also want to extend condolences to so many families who have lost loved ones this year. But I want to seek the indulgence of the Parliament to allow me to extend condolences to the family of the late Linda Jean, who hails from Penn, a very sincere supporter of mine for so many years. You know, a source of tremendous strength and support. And so I also mourn her death, and I want to extend to her entire family in Penn my sincere condolences. Mr. Speaker, while on my feet, I also want to extend congratulations to all members of this House who were sworn in today, who took the oath today, and to say to them that this must be about service to the people who we serve, who we represent. And I want to, while I'm on about this, to extend my own gratitude to, first of all, the Lord, my family, and very importantly to the residents and voters of the Bakers constituency, who have demonstrated and bestowed their confidence and trust in me to the Member of Parliament. Because in all of the positions I hold, Mr. Speaker, all of the positions I hold, the position of parliamentary rep is the most important thing. Because if it's not for them, I will not be here. And so I want to extend and express my sincere thanks to them for the level of support that they've shown to me. And whenever there's elections, then there is certainly the demonstration of that support. And so I want to say to us in Parliament, we're here to do the people's business. and we must do so diligently, respectfully, and with humility. Humility, I believe, Mr. Speaker, is a commodity that you cannot buy from the shelves. You cannot shop online for it. You know, but we have to, as a people, maintain the level of humility that's required in the position that we hold. And we must also have a profound sense of empathy, putting ourselves in people's shoes and finding solutions to the challenges which they face. That, I believe, is our ultimate responsibility, carrying out our biblical and Christian mandate to look after especially those in vulnerable circumstances. And so as we hear in this first sitting, let us renew our commitment to these ideals and to ensure that we can do the best that we can with the resources that we have. And then we go to the Lord in prayer and supplication for those things which we can't do by ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at this time, our thoughts and our prayers are with the people of Turkey and Syria. As you know, Mr. Speaker, there was an earthquake yesterday morning which resulted in the death of thousands of people. Initial figures were about a couple hundred. Last time I checked, over 6,000 people, or close to 6,000 people have died as a result of this devastating earthquake. And so our thoughts and prayers of the people of Syria and Turkey. I know we have diplomatic relations with Turkey. I don't think we have with Syria. So I'm hoping that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the government of Dominica will certainly use our good office to extend sympathies to the people of Turkey and, of course, the people of Syria. Mr. Speaker, we are a country of limited financial resources, but I believe now in this time of need, when the international community is rallying around the people of Syria and Turkey in terms of offering assistance, I believe, Mr. Speaker, that we can see what we can do to make our contribution and join the World Community of Nations in providing whatever support we can to the people of Turkey and Syria at this critical time. Mr. Speaker, in 1971, I believe it was, this House committed $1,000 to the liberation struggle in South Africa.
Member, it is about just congratulatory remarks, or if you want to extend your heartfelt sympathies, that's it. Okay. But it's not a time to spend 5 minutes speaking. So I would ask you to just stay focused, stay on track as per what's on the other paper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your guidance. Mr. Speaker, I move now to Irvin Shillingford, he was the first Dominican to score a Test 100. He had an exemplary record as a batsman for Dominica, Windward Islands, Combined Islands, and West Indies. But for the fact that he was born in Dominica, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Shillingford would have gone on to bat alongside people like Roy Fredericks, Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, and others. So that insularity that prevented Mr. Shillingford from going on to play many more Test matches. I'm hoping that in 2023 that persons who have the talent will be selected not based on where they were born, but based on their ability. I knew Mr. Shillingford very well. He was my neighbor in Goodwill. I lived on Rose Street. He lived on Francis Lane. And so our families are very close. And so his death really is a loss, not just to the country, but to me personally. I'm hoping that Mr. Shillingford, his life, his exploits on in cricket will serve as an inspiration to young people that you can achieve great things if you put your mind to it. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to also extend condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Melvin Constant, better known as Solo. I was lucky enough, I didn't know him in his prime when he won the crown in 75, 76, 77, and I believe sometime in the early 70s, so he won the crown 4 times. But I was lucky enough, Mr. Speaker, to witness him perform at a King of Kings show in New York. And that was one of the, perhaps the most enjoyable shows, calypso shows, that I've attended, and I've attended many in my lifetime. I think Solo will go down in history as one of Dominica's greatest calypsonians. And that song, Mass in the Cemetery, this iconic song, that song, believe me, I see it as great as Frank Sinatra's My Way or Otis Redding sitting on the dock of the bay.
Senator Douglas.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Mr. Speaker.
By the time you finish, there'll be no more time for other members to get an opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so
thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I see you have a prelude of things to come.
But yes.
Mr. Speaker, I join Senator Douglas in extending condolences to the people of Syria, and I will help him a little. I think the official name is Turkey. I think they did that change some time ago. And when we sent a note to them yesterday, we did in fact correct it properly. We spelled it properly. So yes, we join you in doing that. And we too are in sympathy with them. Mr. Speaker, I rise to extend condolences in particular to the family of Irvin Shillingford. Unlike the senator, he wasn't my neighbor, but he is my cousin's father and the cousin of my 2 brothers who themselves play cricket. I wish to extend condolences to the family. I know it's a difficult time for them, but for the country that's in mourning, for someone who, in the prime of his youth, helped to get Dominica to punch above its weight as a small state and to make an indelible mark in international cricket. But I think for us, there's a lesson that Irvin and Grayson, Caleb Laura, and as we go to Thomas Kentish, and your good friend, Javanatian, I know you would say that there was a time when Dominica dominated cricket in the Windward Islands, but also made the West Indies. But the lesson for me is they did that.
Honorable Minister, yes. Remember what I told the Senator. So yes, stay focused, stay on track.
Yes,
let's deal with the congratulatory message and let's move on.
But no, it is important. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will, follow your instructions. But it would be remiss of me not to make mention of the fact that Irvin Shillingford made that contribution when there were less facilities, but we were able to achieve more. And I think this is why we need to recognize the contribution that he's made. So I think perhaps, we need to reflect on that. And that is the point I wish to make. I am not seeking to follow my friend, since in fact he's the one following me. And I want to congratulate him and all of us who are now members of the House, those especially the new members of the House. But Mr. Speaker, I also want to take the opportunity to congratulate my constituents, Alec Afanaz, who himself is leading the Windward Islands team. And I'm hoping that he will follow the footsteps of Irvin Shillingford. And that as we seek to provide better facilities, well, I know the politics of West Indies cricket, but I am satisfied that they will have no choice. They will have no choice because it will be such a grave injustice that they must get all the governors on that team, and I want to take the opportunity to congratulate him and to thank all of those who have contributed to that. I see the chairman of the Grand Bay Village Council here who has provided the support and those who have volunteered over the years to help him in achieving his position, Rafa and Teacher Willie and the rest of them. So I wish to extend congratulations to him. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So I will just take one more. So decide who is going to yield. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes, proceed, Minister George.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too want to add my voice in expressing my sincere condolences to the family of the late Irvin Shillingford. Adorable Irvin was one of the best batsmen Dominica and the Windward Islands could ever produce. And his contribution is very significant, as the speakers before me mentioned, and it's important that we become aware of his contribution and use that as a benchmark going forward. And it's important to note, Mr. Speaker, that Irvin succeeded in a time when there was so much competition in the regional level. And through all these hard times, Irvin was able to succeed and represent Dominica to the best of his ability. So we want to extend our sympathies to his family. The Minister of Sport visited his family and expressed our sympathies in person. I also want to ask that all Dominicans keep the family in their prayers and in their thoughts going forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, we'll just take one, Honorable Prime Minister, just one more, because I know Honorable Minister there, Blanchard, wanted to say something, but very short.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I will be very short. I also want to express condolences to another Irving, our dear colleague, Dr. McIntyre, on the recent passing of his dear wife. Our condolences. I'm sure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, okay. All I would like to say is I would just like to congratulate all members on both sides of the house for their, those who were victorious at the polls. Congratulations. A round of applause to them, please. And all members who were nominated to be senators, a round of applause. I won't say too much about Irvin Shillingford. Irvin Shillingford and my family go way back. So I just want to just, big him up, big up his family, because it was very long already. So let's proceed.
Confirmation of minutes of meeting of Tuesday 26th and Wednesday 27th, Thursday 28th, Friday 29th July, and Tuesday 2nd and Monday 22nd August 2022.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the minutes of the meeting of Tuesday 26th and Wednesday 27th, Thursday 28th, Friday 29th of July 2022, and Tuesday 2nd August 2022, and Monday 22nd August 2022 be confirmed as circulated.
Mr. Speaker, I make second motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the minutes of the meeting of Tuesday 28th and Wednesday 27th, Thursday 28th and Friday 29th of July 2022, and Tuesday 2nd of August and Monday the 22nd of August 2022 be adopted. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Announcement by Speaker.
No major announcement. It's just that I just wanted to point out one thing. We recognize that although the ministers, Prime Minister, opposition leader and ministers of government took the oath of office as ministers. They came to Parliament and they took the oath again, but that's different. So when they took the oath, the first time with the president, they took the oath to be a member of the executive branch. When all the members took the oath this morning, including myself and the deputy speaker, at the time of taking the oath, 1 second after, we became members, formal members, operational members of the legislature. And therefore, any questions or any major work of trying to do work before becoming a member would be out of order. I just wanted to guide the House about this. Just guide the House about this. Just that's the only announcement.
Presentation of papers.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the following papers. 1, Proclamation dissolving Parliament, SRO number 32 of 2022. And 2, Proclamation reconvening Parliament, SRO number 1 of 2023.
Yes, yeah, it's good now.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table. Schedule of supplementary appropriation for the period July 2021 to June 2022. Dominica Agricultural, Industrial and Development Bank Financial Statement 2021 and 2021 Debt Portfolio Review Report.
Government notices.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that at a later stage of the proceedings, I will be moving the motion supplementary estimates of expenditure for the financial year ending 30th of June 2022, and will be taking all 3 stages of the bills shortly entitled Value Added Tax Amendment Act 2023 and Pensions Amendment Act 2023, standing in my name on the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that at a later stage of the proceedings, I will be taking all 3 stages of the bill shortly entitled by Resolution Amendment Act of 2023, standing in my name on the paper.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that at a later stage of the proceedings, I'll be taking all 3 stages of the bill shortly entitled Stamp Amendment Act 2023, standing in my name on the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that at a later stage of the proceedings, I will be taking all stages of the bills shortly entitled Highway Maintenance Levy Repeal Act of 2023 and Vehicles and Road Traffic Amendment Act 2023, standing in my name on the order paper.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that at a later stage of the proceedings, I will be taking all 3 stages of the bills shortly entitled International Maritime Act 2023 and Civil Aviation Amendment Act 2023, standing in my name on the order paper.
Statement by Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to issue a very short statement on electoral modernization. As I understand, there are some 15 people outside wanting to hear about electoral modernization. I want to say to the Parliament, Mr. Speaker, that since the engagement of Sir Dennis Byron and his submission of his first draft report, which was submitted in December, I have met with Sir Dennis for this year on 2 occasions to discuss his recommendations in the draft report. There would have been a third meeting yesterday at 3 p.m. with Sir Dennis Byron. And Sir Dennis Byron requested a postponement of that meeting. Because of the importance which myself and this government place on electoral reform, I indicated to Sir Dennis Byron that I am prepared to meet with him today, February 7th, at 1:30 p.m., notwithstanding the fact that Parliament takes precedence over all my other engagements. I've decided to set this meeting for today. So I shall meet with Sir Dennis Byron today at 1:30 p.m. And my hope is that this will be the final meeting that we will have before he submits his final report. I also want to say to the Parliament, if you've done, that in the terms of references of the engagement of Sir Dennis Byron, the drafting of legislation was not part of it. At the request of Sir Dennis Byron and the chairman of the Electoral Commission, I authorized the engagement of a legal drafts expert to draft all of the legislation to form part of the submission on electoral reform. And as Minister of Finance, I provided all of the resources to pay for the legal consultant to draft those legislation. I have said to Sir Dennis Byron, and I will say to the Parliament of Dominica, to Dominic, that this matter is the matter that I wish to put to rest once and for all in our country. And I wish to come to the Parliament to seek parliamentary approval of the new legislation by April of this year, so that the process of implementation can begin immediately thereafter. And so I'm hoping that this meeting this afternoon with Sir Dennis Byron will be the final one, and that we will receive the final report from Sir Dennis Byron the soonest, so that there can be consultation with stakeholders. Because consultation with any politician or any group of politicians is not the final point of consultation. The people of Dominica must be consulted on this very important matter of their right to be given, the right to vote in Dominica, if they so choose to register and to vote in Dominica's election. So I want to make it very clear, Mr. Speaker, that we shall continue to engage in this matter of electoral reform with the highest sense of transparency. The highest sense of transparency. We have absolutely nothing to hide or to be afraid of with this process, because the records will show that this is the only political party in our country's history that has taken the responsible approach of engaging with the modernization of our electoral processes in Dominica. But I will say this also, that every election that we've had in Dominica, prior to and post our independence, were all free and fair. And everyone accepted those results. But there has been a culture in our country to give the impression to the international community that our elections are not free and fair. We're all here today, Mr. Speaker, because a process under the Constitution and appropriate laws of Dominica will recognize, and people demonstrated their franchise and the constitutional right to vote in our elections. This is why we have 21 elected members of Parliament sitting here. And this is why we have 9 nominated persons, senators, sitting in the Parliament today. And everyone who wanted to vote and who was on the voters list was never hindered from being open voting. And all the independent observers who came to observe our elections declared that they were free and fair elections in Dominica. And I will go back to 2019, that even in 2019 election, when there were even external involvement in our elections by the OAS and others, with the Secretary General of the OAS, the OAS itself declared in 2019 that there were free and fair elections in Dominica. And in this election, Mr. Speaker, you know who the first who congratulated me as Prime Minister? The Secretary General of the OAS. And so it is a disservice to our country and right-thinking Dominicans. Forget about your political persuasion, but be guided by your conscience and your commitment to our country and your professed love for Dominica and your gratitude to our country that has given all of us what we have, that we must not give the international community the impression that the conduct of our business in Dominica is not done in a transparent and honorable way. It's not good for us. This is not politics. This is being anti-Dominican. And so let us engage ourselves in a serious, mature manner. If we say we truly want the electoral modernization, let us engage ourselves in a serious, mature, transparent manner, and let us bring this matter of electoral modernization to a successful and transparent end. I give the people of this country and this parliament the most sincere assurances that this matter of electoral reform in Dominica, electoral modernization in Dominica, will continue to be conducted in a transparent manner. And that demonstration is recognized by the engagement of one of the most prominent legal luminaries in our Caribbean, Sir Dennis Byron, to assist us in examining in a dispassionate, objective manner our electoral systems and to see what we can do to engage this. And I will say to the public and the parliament again that in furtherance of his work as Prime Minister of this country, I wrote to the Secretary General of the Commonwealth and the Secretary General of the Organization of American States, soliciting their expert guidance and human resources to assist us in even reviewing that which Sir Dennis Byron would have submitted to us, and to ensure that it meets international best practices based on their own knowledge of electoral laws and electoral processes. And my final point to us, the issue of citizenship of our country and the issue of the rights and privileges of citizens of Dominica, and the fact that many people died to ensure that we have this franchise to vote, a very important and solemn right. And in many countries in the world today, there are many citizens who do not have that right to vote. It is important for us to set aside narrow partisanship and recognize our greater duty and obligation to the people of this country, and to ensure that in the process of electoral modernization, that no Dominican is denied the opportunity to get registered if he or she so chooses, and thereby denying him his right or her right from voting in elections. I want to say to us in Dominica that if we allow this to happen, history will not be kind to us. And we shall live with our consciences being haunted by our letting down of our forebears who fought to get us where we are today as a free-spirited, independent, democratic country. And so let us not, I'm not in this politics business, Mr. Speaker. I am here in the Parliament for 23 years, January 41st past. So I'm not in this business of playing politics and everything, Mr. Speaker. This as a history of student, as a student of history, and somebody who has a very strong ideological view on these things. We must not come here to play politics in this country on this thing. And we're not on this side afraid of any modernization processes, because we know that under any circumstances, when we present ourselves to Dominica, they will put us back in our program. And truth be told, I would like to see this process come to an end at the earliest time. And I'm hoping that we can come to Parliament just for one matter. We'll convene Parliament, Mr. Speaker, just for one matter. And if that day can be a Saturday or Sunday, then let it be. Just to pass the legislation dealing with electoral reform. So I'm saying to all those listening to me that if you're serious about electoral reform, let it happen. But I will say this to those who do not want it to happen, that you can jump high, jump low. There will be electoral modernization in Dominica. Because there are some who say they want it, but do not want it. Because they want to continue to give the international community the impression that this government doesn't want electoral modernization or electoral reform in Dominica. And so I'm saying to all that I want it. And I want it now. And we will put all of the resources to ensure that it happens in the likeness and the image of the Dominican people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Introduction of...
Mr. Speaker, as I said, I have a 1:40 meeting. And I'm moving to suspend the House until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you.
I beg to second, Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the House be suspended until 3 p.m. this afternoon. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. House stands suspended until 3 p.m. this afternoon.
Mr.